The topic is describing a distribution and calculating percentages. Alright, so let's do this example. There's a histogram. The variable is, always the variable is in the x-axis, is the size of 36 vineyards in the Finger Lakes region of New York. And of course on the x-axis it tells us the number of vineyards. For example, there are 15. If you look at the first rectangle or the first bar, there are 15 vineyards such that their size is between 0 and 30 acres, and so on. Alright, first question, we need to write a brief description of this distribution. And again, I'm looking at the definition first. Let's look at the shape. So it's asking us, and we need to say something about the shape. Is it unimodal, bimodal, uniform? So by looking at it, I see only one mode, right? It's right there. So I'm gonna start with the distribution, like always. So the distribution of 36 vineyards in the Finger Lakes region of New York. That's the distribution we have. Of course it's unimodal. It is unimodal. What else? Is it skewed to the right, skewed to the left, or symmetric? Of course we can tell it's skewed to the left. It's going that way towards the tail, the right tail. So it's pulled towards the right tail. So we say is unimodal and skewed to the right. Now, what else? What about the center? Again, when we talk about, when we talk about a distribution that's skewed, we automatically talk about median. Symmetric, we talk about mean. So we're going to talk about median. And the median, just look at where these kind of like the equilibrium of the graph. So it's around, if I look at it that way, 0 to 30, it's kind of like, I would say 50. About, it doesn't have to be perfect. So the median is at about 50 acres. So if we talk about the range, again, when it's skewed, we talk about the IQR, not about the standard deviation, even though it's hard to talk about standard deviation from the graph anyway. So the IQR, in other words, the 50% of the vineyards, where are they located at? So what are their heights or their sizes? So if you look at 50%, I would be between, I don't know, I would say 70 from here to here. I would say the IQR will be between, first quartile will be at 20, so it's between 20 and probably 65 yards. Between 25 acres, sorry, not yard, 25 acres to 65 acres. In other words, 50% of the vineyards of course we're talking about those 36 vineyards are between, or their sizes between 25 acres and 65 acres. Kinda doesn't have to be perfect, we're just estimating. And then unusual features. Unusual features always the outlier, the value that's out there far from everything. So we can tell there's an outlier here. There is an outlier. So these are vineyards with between 240 and 270. It's between 240 acres. Oops, I need to write there. 240 acres and 270 acres. Right, I was writing below B, so don't worry, all this stuff is supposed to go here. Okay? Alright, we're done with question A. Now question B. Question B is right there. Approximately what percentage of these vineyards are under 60 acres? 60 acres. So they're talking about these two bars. Tell me if you agree. Right? They're talking about these two bars. 60. So in other words, you can even do this. A number. So you can do even with the bin, and you can see, maybe we can invent another question. Here's the bin, and here's the number of vineyards. So between 0 and 30, between 0 and 30 acres, there are 15 vineyards. Between 30 and 60, there are, between 30 and 60, I think that's 13, that number right there. So there are 13 vineyards. So basically, how many vineyards are under 60? Vineyards less than 60 acres is going to be 15 plus 13, which is 28 vineyards. So if we want to know the percentage, we need to add how many vineyards we have. 36. You can even find all the vineyards but anyway, so it's 28. So the percentage, you always have to divide how many the vineyards that are under 60, divide by the total. We said the total is 36, and if you divide that, you get about 78%. So 78% of the total of the vineyards are their sizes are under 60 acres. So for example, if they ask you, let me invent another question, C, what about approximate the percentage of the vineyards that are less than 90? So what you need to do, you need to do all this. Less than 90 means you need to add the bin between 60 and 90. Remember, 90 is not included, that's why they're strictly less. So 60 to 90, how many are? I'm thinking, let me see, this is probably 3, so I'm going to add 3. So the answer for this question C that I just added will be that 28 plus 3 over 36. So actually, it's 31 over 36. Oops, 36. Let me use my calculator. That would be, this is 86.11%, so 87%. Right, and that's it for this example.